three-segment series, Battling the Barriers of Inclusion in Early Childhood Education. With us, a parent and an educator, bring to light their concerns for implementing inclusion.
Hello, I'm Amy Riccomini, and this is Meet the Press. I'm here today with Miss Yannacone, kindergarten teacher, and Miss Miata, a parent of a child without disabilities. And we're here to discuss the inclusion of children with disabilities in the general education classroom, such as Miss Yannacone's classroom. There are many barriers and concerns that parents and teachers are facing today with the inclusion of children with disabilities, and we are going to address those and see from the teacher and the parent's perspective what those concerns and barriers are. Inclusion, according to IDEA, is the incorporation of children with special needs into the general education classroom with their typically developing peers. Ms. Yannacone, you were an early childhood education major through college. Do you feel the teacher preparation that you went through has prepared you to teach children with disabilities in your general education classroom?
I honestly don't. Since my major was in early childhood education and not special education, I lack the formal training that special educators get during their schooling. For example, I don't know procedures like IEPs, the different legal aspects of special education. I also am unaware of different procedures like modifications, adaptations, assistive technology. I honestly feel like I am not qualified to teach children with special needs. I have no experience with working with children with special needs, and I feel like that is very important. I'm not sure I would be able to meet those children's needs. So overall, I don't feel like I'm qualified, and I don't feel like I'm prepared for inclusion.
Now, hearing that Ms. Yannacone does not feel qualified to teach children with special needs in the classroom with students such as your own child, how does that make you feel as a parent?
Well, I see that early childhood and special education, they are two realms. The teachers go through two separate programs. They deal with two intense and different populations of children. Personally, I feel that those students that need more time on specific tasks and that need more intense and direct instruction should be in a setting where the special education can help them attain those goals and meet their desired needs. I don't believe that the general education teachers should have to worry about problem behaviors, modifying the curriculum like Ms. Yannacone was talking before, and other concerns that her and other general education teachers may have.
Now, one concern preschool teachers are facing, Ms. Yannacone, is that the environment for their general education classroom is not appropriate for children with special needs. And those of us that are familiar with IDEA know that the law states that a child with special needs, the IEP is designed to provide benefits in the classroom. Do you feel that your environment is appropriate and will provide those benefits?
I honestly do not feel like my classroom environment would provide academic benefits for children with special needs, and it actually might hinder my other children, the typically developing children in my classroom. On average, each year I have about 20 children in my classroom, so it's already difficult to try to individualize the curriculum for each child. Not to mention try to meet everybody's needs, meet with all the parents, and all of the other school procedures that I have to follow. I just don't feel like my environment would help children with special needs. I feel like I would be devoting all of my attention to them, so I feel like the other children would get left behind, especially my children who are maybe in the middle where they don't need that extra one-on-one, but if they're not pushed, they're not going to succeed when they get to first grade. And I'm just worried about the other children in my class too.
Now, those other children, Ms. Miata, would probably be your children. And after hearing that, how does that make you feel?
I feel that if my child is in a setting where the general education students and the special needs students are combined, I feel that my child's individual needs may not be met. Ms. Yannacone has already told us that she has to provide so much differentiated instruction to a large population of children, and because the fact that my child isn't gifted and my child doesn't have special needs, I feel that because he's right in the middle, he may get left behind because his learning abilities don't fall under the law to require him to meet those specific annual goals like these children with special needs get that certain kind of a program where they do indeed get their individual needs met in that one-on-one instruction.
Now, you both touched on the fact that you're concerned for children that are falling behind. With No Child Left Behind, there's been a growing emphasis on high-stakes testing, reaching benchmarks, and making sure that all children, all schools are making annual and yearly progress. That puts a lot of pressure on you, Ms. Yannacone. How do you feel with children with disabilities and all the extra attention you need to put on them? How do you think that your other children are going to, how's that going to affect them?
Well, I think all teachers are very nervous about No Child Left Behind and high-stakes testing. Even in kindergarten, my children are tested. I'm very nervous, more so with meeting all of the standards for kindergarten, and usually the kindergarten teachers in my school, we plan together, we plan our lessons and curriculum, so we're all kind of doing the same thing so we can piggyback off each other, and it's been beneficial, and we've seen improvements with that. So I feel if my classroom is the inclusion classroom, let's say, and I have children in my classroom with special needs, I feel like I'm going to get left behind. I don't believe I can meet all the standards because I feel like every day I'm not going to get through what I have to, and that's very nerve-wracking, and I know there's a lot of pressure on me from my other school personnel and other kindergarten teachers, parents. I honestly think it would be better if I didn't have children with special needs in my classroom so I could meet all of the standards and I could prepare my children for first grade.
Now, hearing that, and, do you have a fear that your child may not be prepared for the next grade, and in your case it's first grade?
Exactly, just to reiterate what she said, I'm concerned that she may not be able to meet these standards if there's an abundance of special needs children in her classroom. The life of a teacher is so busy, and I know that she's put under a lot of pressure to meet the requirements of the law, making sure that indeed no child is left behind. However, with all that planning and preparation, it may have a negative effect because those children with special needs they're not receiving that intense direct instruction, and those children in the general ed population may not be challenged enough and they just might get bored. So I feel like each child isn't reaching their highest potential that is being included in the inclusion setting.
There you have it, the barriers and concerns of inclusion from a kindergarten teacher and a parent of a typically developing peer. We know that every child deserves an education in which they benefit from it, but is the general education classroom the appropriate classroom for children with special needs? Thank you. This has been Meet the Press with Amy Riccomini, Jennifer Yannacone, and Jennifer Miata.
Direct instruction